The topics discussed and the information provided on this program is for general information. The hosts of this show are not medical professionals and are expressing their personal views and stories related to their individual lives. Their views are not intended to be used or taken as medical information. If you or a family member have suffered a traumatic brain injury, you should seek help from a practicing licensed physician.
Hi, I'm Tanya Witaker. Welcome to Brain Mechanics. Our host today, of course, is Matt Duffin, in charge of Brain Mechanics. And I want to tell you, this is a show about what happens after traumatic brain injury. Keep in mind that we're neither doctors, nor nutritionists, nor therapists, but we've been there, done that. On today's show, I want you to know that we have a very special guest to me, and that is Tanya Witaker, my wife, also known as the Big Boss, or She Who Must Be Obeyed. And she has suffered from a traumatic brain injury a number of years ago. And I guess I just really wanted to show how proud I was of her, the progress she's made, and I want you to have hope. And now, to Matt Duffin.
Hi. Oh, no, I wasn't late. I was on my normal routine. I showed up at 12:30, I think. Tanya, it's great to have you with us. I know that. Because, and I know there's so many other survivors in and around our communities, if not in and around our country in general. More and more every day, because medical expertise is getting better to save lives. It's just happening. We're getting stronger. I don't know. We're working on it. And the military sends so many home, but that's cutting down a little bit as of right now. And as a survivor, and first, we're not going to go through a lot. I mean, we all have our stories. We all sit in our own private little support groups, and we tell our stories. You know, in a nutshell, my friend, my sweet darling Tanya, I'm not hitting on your wife. You know, she was involved in a severe criminal act, what, 14 years ago?
You're looking at 16 now.
16 years ago. See how old we're getting?
Yeah,
And
better.
She survived it. And that's enough. You know, if she wants to go on to anything, that would be up to her. I'd like you guys to get to meet some survivors that are farmers, that are just down-home farm girl, because they live on a farm. I'm joking. She had a great job. They did everything, you know, before the traumatic brain injury. Life was good.
Yep.
But you guys had 2 daughters?
2 daughters and a son,
Yeah. I forgot about the boy. Hi.
Yep. Yeah, things were going great. And of course, as I've said on previous shows, we didn't know what traumatic brain injury was. I mean, I motorcycled, and there were some friends who'd had a spill or whatever, and you know, the most you would know was, well, he's a little different now, or you know, again, his temperature, you know, I mean, that was it, or that's it. He's
a little
different
slower.
now.
Doesn't always understand what you're saying.
He doesn't ride anymore.
Right.
You know, that was the kind of things that.
I don't know. I don't see him. I don't stop by.
Yeah. And you know, that was the extent of my understanding of traumatic brain injury. And then, you know, and then an event happened. And I think what I want to emphasize in this particular show today, and to give people hope, is that Tanya was hurt in the worst way and has gone through rehabilitation efforts that are they were the precursors of the RHI group out of Indianapolis, and through the various training and stimulation to come back to relearn things. And I mean,
Right.
You had to start at the beginning.
Well, I mean, because an RHI is full of so many different ways of getting a traumatic brain
levels.
injury, right? Whether it be an aneurysm or tumors,
Yeah.
or you get cracked in the head with
Stroke.
an iron bar.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
and who would have thought?
Yes.
She's a dead woman. She's alive now. we both crossed over the same path. We both, when I ever show up, attend the same little church in Milton, Indiana.
Yes. Yes. We do now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff, though, that, you know, he was just talking about the RHI and all that. Some of that I remember, like the later part of it when I was there. But the early part, I don't remember that much. You know, I was told that I had to relearn everything, like you guys were just talking about. Talking, walking, that's about all I know. But they were so good, and they took it slow. That's what's neat about a lot of different levels. With me, they went on my own pace, and it was good. You know, little by little, I got to count change.
Yeah. See, that's one of the things people don't understand. I want to interrupt real quick. Is there's a period of time, and I still have to, that we have to think before I can't just get up and walk to the kitchen and go get what I was thinking about grabbing.
Yeah.
I have to, you know, we have to think about
Conscious effort.
getting
Okay.
up. You see what I'm saying? What they
Yes.
teach in basic rehab at RHI, you know,
Yeah.
getting up, walking right, keeping your balance.
Balance is a big thing. But for me, like what you're talking about, I have to remember what I went there for. Now, you'd like that focus, you know, and I have to, even if I'm not, if I don't remember, you know, what I was there for, you know, I might wander around and go back to it. But he's good at trying to keep me focused, and I try. Or else I wander around, you know, and then I get it maybe eventually. It'll come back.
It's difficult. And that's
Sometimes.
the thing is that the important thing that anyone needs to get out of this, that is around someone who's brain injured, or if you've had a brain injury like Tanya, is that don't give up and don't punish yourself for what you can't do. What happens, I see in the brain injury issues, is that people very clearly remember what they used to be like and what they used to do and what they could do versus what they can't do now or are challenged to do. And emotionally, that takes a huge toll. And you just have to dismiss that. It's not that it doesn't count, that you're not going to try and make it better, but you cannot beat yourself up. You have to forgive yourself. You have a challenge and work to overcome it to the best of your abilities. And maybe in Tanya's case, she became a prolific note taker. Everything, write everything down every day, every step, so that there was and establish a routine.
Well, and it also, real quick, it does for two things. Writing out is like saying something. You actually
Okay.
remember it a little better.
Different form.
And you're putting it down to put somewhere where you can see it to remember to do it. So it's got a double fold as far as recovery.
Well, with me, it also helps me, though. I was just talking about kind of getting sidetracked, you know, my concentration or focus. And if I have everything written down, I can go back to that at least, you know, and see what I was going to do. Or I used to take notes, and I still do. I still take a lot of notes. In fact, I almost brought some here just so I wouldn't forget to say anything or do something. Didn't do
right
it.
out of your hand.
Apparently.
Yeah, well, as a old reporter and made a notes from years ago, I just always kept my tape recorder with me.
Did you?
Yep.
So that was able to roll right into my brain injury because it was already a routine
You're
for
used
me.
to doing it. Yeah.
Right.
Natural.
And, you know, I wouldn't have 19 hours. I didn't leave it on all day long, but if something report, you know.
Right.
And then they got that little computer wizard that you just plug in and it records and puts it all on there for you. It writes it out. But, you know, there's your notes. I
Right.
mean, that's things I needed for the day. Because I highly, highly, highly recommend if you go see your neurologist, any doctor you have, take a tape recorder with you. You know, turn it on. The doctor won't care. I mean, I've taken one all the way down to the surgery room with me, but right before they knocked me out and cut on me, they made me turn it off. You know, but we put that on the radio. You know, I thought it would be interesting.
It's not a bad idea because, like with me, I don't have a lot of short-term. Long-term memories, better. You know, it's stronger. But I wonder if I don't remember short-term, what goes into long-term? You know what I mean? And so what you're talking about, the tape recorder or writing it down, is good. So at least maybe, or like a diary. I was encouraged to keep that. I don't all the time, but at least in writing it, I can go back and kind of remember what I was even trying to do, or more importantly too, what I got done, because I can be kind of hard on myself, you know, that I didn't get the things that I'd wanted to accomplish. Whether you're injured or not, that happens. But at least, you know what Malin's talking about, don't be too hard on yourself. At least sometimes I can go back and see what I did do, you know?
You may not have called it this, but one of the first things you got at RHI, and you're going up, and it was called a memory book.
Oh,
it was that little notebook, little thing that had what you were supposed to do for the day, and you know, it was basically Tanya Witaker's life for the day. You could write your little notes. Your husband could write your notes. Your daughters, whoever.
Real important.
And I push memory books hard.
That's a good idea.
Hard.
Yes, because with me, with the short-term memory and that loss, that I could, you know, it used to be that I could remember about 24 hours. Longer than that, you know, or sooner, I mean, later than that, couldn't really remember, like last week or the week before, not really. And even now, it can be challenging depending on how much I have going on too, you know. Then I get overwhelmed easily with a little bit.
Sure.
It wasn't so much before because we had our own business, but now it takes less to get overwhelmed. So back to you, that memory, that helped me a lot. I don't keep it all the time, it's true.
Now, what's interesting though is Tanya says that her short-term memory is poor. If I do anything wrong, I want to tell you as husbands or wives out there, if you're with a traumatic brain injury survivor, anything that's emotionally connected, oh, they're going to remember that. If you let her down, oh yeah, it's like you're reading it right off the page. So what I'm saying is that there are links out there. If we can take that emotional link though and link it up to the day, it's hard to do when you're, well, you know, I'm going to make dinner, or I'm going to wash clothes or whatever. But emotional things are especially linked up, at least with Tanya and her memories. So she remembers all those things very, very readily. So I'm always, you know, if I'm in trouble, I know it right away. Absolutely.
You know, when I was taught by one of the caretakers, one of the people at RHI, and they said, the things that you tend to remember, the things that touch your heart. And that makes still so much sense to me, because I think I get kind of hard on myself when or something that's important, I want to remember it, but it's gone, you know, something, to me it's almost kind of trivial, but it doesn't matter. It's the things like you're talking about, that which touches your heart, you do.
You remember things from the heart and the good things because, I'm telling you right now, people, angels don't hang out anywhere near the devil. they don't care for him. They're just, it's just not around. So,
it's true.
In my crossovers, plural, I never saw anything warm. I saw a lot of purgatories at different periods of times. But
did you really?
Yeah. You remember a lot of your crossover?
Yes. You know, I don't remember, you know, like I was just saying earlier, about what happened. You know, only that I was told I was assaulted. Okay.
But you could be pumped for acute rehab or recall.
Would I be able to do that?
Like we're doing now.
No, she doesn't remember any of the criminal act.
Leading up to
I mean just acute rehab. what
Some of that.
recall of what you want to do. Like now, I'll let you go back into crossing over because people, if you've not been there, man, it is wild.
You know,
It's safe. It's safe. It's fine. It's different.
You know, like I was just saying, I don't
say it to
remember any of the assault, nothing really that happened. However, about the only thing that I remember was, I guess I was not conscious, and but I remember this. It was a light. It was a bright light, but not bright like you're seeing here. It was warm, a warm light, and it went up like that, and there was nothing around it. It was just like a kind of a straight, yet a soft light, and everything was perfect. Everything was good. You didn't see anything. You just knew it because you knew that. You could feel it. All was well. All was good. Nothing sad. You know, nothing. And I wanted to go further. You know, I wanted to go on like that. However, for some reason, I couldn't go there. You know, I wanted to go in. You know, through wherever I saw.
Wasn't ready for you yet. Wasn't even ready for you to talk to him that far yet.
I guess so. And even when I remember coming, I don't remember that.
Still
you know,
have
coming
things to do
down
here, honey, but yeah.
Oh, I wanted to go back. It was so.
I mean, that's my guess from being up there because I went a couple of steps further.
You did?
And yeah, I mean, I got to be there and talk to people that. Can we say straighten me out? Is that legal?
I would say that you
knew me before, now you know me now.
well, you've come back and not that you're perfect because no one achieves perfection, but you have a very noble purpose, Matt. You know, you may not feel like you accomplish it every day, but helping people with traumatic brain injuries to the extent that you have is certainly a noble purpose, and I think that would supersede anything that you might have. You misspent some of your youth, my friend, but you know now you're powering up here. I know you enjoyed it immensely, to your delight and detriment. But you know it's one of those things. You know you're here now and you're helping people, and it's incredible.
It's
really
not easy to learn how to save this country.
Well, you're helping people. It looks like one at a time.
Beforehand, yeah, right. And you know, I got out of the military. I did some things, good and bad, and. People talk about the bad more than they do the good.
You know, it's hard.
But anyway, God didn't take me away. He gave me one more chance. I can remember that day.
Yeah.
Then letting me. You got another opportunity. Go straighten it out.
Wow.
Deeper story than that. Go ahead.
I know. No. I mean, the thing is, folks, I would hope that you would consider, whether you're a caregiver for a brain injured person or you're around someone who's brain injured, try and understand that this is not about politics or do-gooderism or anything like that, but it's about being a human being, and try and reach out and help that person. Try and understand so that it doesn't, no one feels more alone than a brain injured person. They're in there, they know they're in there, they know what they could do, they know what they should be or ought to be doing or what people are expecting of them, and damn it, they can't, okay? And you be noble. I think that that's the essence of the word. Be noble as a human being to try and help someone that you know like that. In my case, I redirected my energies and efforts to be her husband, the guy that she hoped she'd married, and to, you know, I mean, yeah, we had a business together. It was very successful.
Well, let me pivot let me pivot on you real quick into that direction. Because so many brain injured people lose their family, their immediate family, their husbands, their wives.
That's a good
point. A lot of them just they're waiting on that income, that whatever the insurance is going to pay off, and he's out the door. Or he's out.
True.
So, it happens, unfortunately.
You guys had already been married, what, 10 years, 15?
Let's see. I won't ask you to do calculations. How's that, okay?
You've been married a while. You had 3 kids.
Yeah, 26 years.
before the accident.
Yes.
So you had 3 kids.
Yep, we had 3 children, ran a business. She had been successful. She was
Wait a minute.
program director for a television station.
As old as he looks, you really was married? What did you do, get married when you were 3? Anyway.
She,
I love you.
yeah, well, I got the pick of the litter. She's just such a beautiful lady, and she looks, like 30s, 40s, and, I look like I'm my age. But anyway, I'm going to work on it. Anyway,
I have no idea what that is, but
the thing is that we had all these wonderful, successful things going, and brain injury was not even remotely
thought of.
No. I can tell you
what it is.
I can tell you what we did think of. We thought of deadlines for our clients who are in the printing business. We printed and did all kinds of print work and decorating work, and that was important.
You don't expect your kids to get in an accident on their way to school this morning.
Nope.
Right,
Just
right.
give them money for lunch. You just made sure they had money for lunch.
Not a thing.
The day-to-day.
And so, these things come out of the blue. And just, as I said, if you can, please, try and be noble. Look it up.
Well,
and
they
I guess
stay together.
I guess I want to throw in
Yeah.
try and be loyal. This was your challenge, for richer, for poorer, for better, for worse, in sickness or in health. Hey,
Right.
make a note,
I mean, I even had an ex-wife that come back and did a lot for me.
Yes.
During, which
Yes.
I have more than one of them. But, one of them did a lot for me
Yes.
during my trials.
Yes.
And her husband I knew pretty good. He didn't care. I mean, I needed somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's, I mean,
Nice
but
lady.
after the
Very
fact,
nice lady.
after the fact, I had a 90-year-old man and outpatient recovery, and my
Wow.
daughters to recover with.
Yes.
You guys did it on your own. You studied it. You stayed together. Your kids stayed with you.
Yep.
Well, they grew up and missed the nest. But
Well, unfortunately, they went on. The idea that I would suggest for most people is if you have somebody in a traumatic brain injury, the goal of the brain injured person is not normally to have all the emphasis shift to themselves, though it is. You have to, but in a subtle and wonderful way so that they don't feel terrible for receiving it, you don't feel burdened for giving it, and that the rest of your family can move on. Life is happening whether you have to put yours in park or not, and go forward and try and do as many good things as you can. Tanya and I guess we might be the exception rather than the rule for a lot of people that are in brain injuries. And sometimes brain injuries are very destructive of the personality that previously
Yeah,
existed.
true.
So
you're of the 17% that stay together.
17%.
Really?
Huh? Wow.
Eventually, that's over a 15, 20-year study, but a lot of them, like I say, go right away.
Well, they do, and it's a challenge. But a lot of people don't stick together even if there aren't any problems. So I don't know how to rate that, but
Life
17
changes so much
Yes.
for at least the people, the survivor, and the immediate people that love the survivor. Life just changed. And there ain't
Yeah.
nothing nobody can do about it. It changes some for the other ones, but they try to get away. It's just, and that
Yeah,
is
true.
gets back to because what you was just saying. You have to live life.
Well, I think that it's something that I want to throw out there for the caregiver people, whether it's the husband or the wife or a friend or whatever, and that is that what's your tone of voice? Not you can do that, or I know you know how to do that. No. You can do it. I'm here with you. It's going to be okay. Maybe not today, but tomorrow. Okay? We're going to be fine.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
You give them, at least, with me, you let me have my dignity,
Thank you.
Yeah, and that I feel honored, when he does that. It just kind of, because I'm down, I get hard on myself. I demand, the demands I place on myself, and yet some things I have to be retaught, to relearn, relearn them, and I try, even if it's for a minute by minute, it's
And
It's
then
okay.
remembering it to do it again tomorrow.
Yep.
yes,
You got to teach me again. And that's what he was getting into, and he loved you enough that
It's true.
Okay, we'll work on this tomorrow too. We'll do it again.
The
Tomorrow.
patience.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people that's watched that one movie it has.
I know what
50
you're
First
talking
Dates?
about.
Yes.
That's a tough
Yeah,
one.
we've been there, lived that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that is in the Hollywood way. That's how it is.
Yeah, that's how it was
true.
depicted. And there are
Painting
people
and making sure
that are
that
like
she
that.
didn't know nothing changed.
Yep.
It was started all over
Yep.
again. I mean, just
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
Not easy.
I would come into the, whether it was initially in recovery or even when she was in ICU, I would talk to her and I'd say, "It's your loving husband," just to let her know. We only later found out that she couldn't recognize faces. That was part of the injury. So when we see Matt, I say, "Oh, look, it's Matt."
Yeah, that really
And
helps
so
me.
that, that she doesn't feel bad. Listen, I just want you guys to have hope, okay? It's not all that bad. Have people watch the show, talk among yourselves, and just try and be decent to each other. Matt, thanks for having us.
I think first I'll shut up for the rest of the time and say anything you'd like to close us with, and Malin, you guys close together.
Well, thank you. I just want to say to you guys, if there's anyone that's experienced it, whether it's yourself, whether it's somebody that friends or whatever, please don't go down without a fight. Don't give in to that. It may be struggle, whether it's day to day, hour to hour, the things you remember, things you don't. It's irrelevant. Don't stop trying. It'll take you down.
It's not a very very long fall if you give up. You're already
true.
down there.
I say this a lot, guys, and I want you to hear me, okay? Whether you believe or not doesn't really matter, but I want you to know that despair is not one of God's tools. And when you let despair enter into your life, darkness is talking to you, not a good place. And I want you to stay with it, know that there's hope, and the purpose of this show is so that in brain injury, you know that it's not all over with. It's a new beginning for many, just like Tanya and I. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.
The topics discussed and the information provided on this program is for general information. The hosts of this show are not medical professionals and are expressing their personal views and stories related to their individual lives. Their views are not intended to be used or taken as medical information. If you or a family member have suffered a traumatic brain injury, you should seek help from a practicing licensed physician.